Time now to look back at yesterday's. Well, we don't have to talk football. We can talk about. I can't believe
Yesterday's
1995. What's the story morning it was released? Let's talk about that. Let's say hello and good afternoon to rock and roll superstar Noel Gallagher joins us. Hello, Noel.
Hello there.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Yeah. Should we just talk music? Should we just talk about what's the story? 1995. It was released on this very day.
I can't believe we give you 3 goals.
Love it.
I think it's. Hang on a minute. It's an embarrassment. 70 minutes of that game will live long in the memory, and then 6-1. It was how you got another 2 goals. They've had a shocker.
But you know what, right? It doesn't feel like a 6-3. It feels like a 6-0. If I'm being honest, those 3 goals are totally irrelevant to me.
Well, 6-1 was probably the score, but then he took 4. He took 3 or 4 players off, and then it kind of all fell apart. But it was someday. Someday.
Although we did win the second half, so as halves go, it was 1-1.
That's right. Yeah. Well, you hold on to that.
That's all I've got.
Yeah.
Listen, there are so many things we can talk to you about, but I suppose we have to talk about Erling Haaland because he just gets better and better and better. He's just an absolute monster. Do you think anyone can stop him this season?
I think I obviously listen to talkSPORT every day. You hear a lot. How do you stop him? I don't think you stop him. I think you have to stop De Bruyne, or you have to stop the ball getting to him, because we've seen the goals that he scored already. Some of them are scarcely believable. The one against Dortmund and his second one against United, where no other striker in the world even attempts that. So I don't think you do stop him. But we're watching something that is scarcely believable here. To think that he's 9 goals short of last year's Golden Boot title, and there's 30 games left. It's a joke.
Do you not know it is a joke? I mean, he's been incredible. But you would have seen Aguero when he first came, and I think he got 2 on his debut, and I think he never stopped scoring to the moment he left. Are you seeing, not comparisons because we've never seen anything like this, but do you expect Erling Haaland to kind of go down that same road, that prolific kind of goal scorer like Sergio was?
Well, I always think that your debut is a good snapshot of how your career is going to go at a club. And I mean, when Sergio came and he scored 2 goals his day, was like, well, this guy's the real deal. But it was a completely different team. But Haaland, if he stays fit, and he's still in the settling in period, according to the experts at your radio station. So, I mean, by another 6 weeks, I mean, it'll be good that the World Cup comes along for everybody else, I would have thought. But this guy, I mean, he's done it already all over Europe. He's done it in the Bundesliga and wherever else he's been. But you can't see him going 3 games without scoring.
No.
You know what I mean? You cannot see it.
And also, you mentioned the World Cup there, and a few people have sort of said that when he was playing his football in Germany, he picked up a few knocks here and there, and he was out for a few games. But he's effectively got a month off over Christmas, so he'll come back. I mean, this sounds frightening, but he'll come back even sharper in the new year.
I would have thought, though, that Dortmund ran him into the ground. I would have thought he was rushed back from injury and he played every single game and he played every minute of every game. I think City are a bit more wise to that. Where, I mean, I was surprised he stayed on yesterday after the 6th, because I'd have thought he'd gone straight off. But I don't think City will run him into the ground like Dortmund would. So you're only worried about kind of impact injuries. But that Dortmund team. Those Dortmund teams do tend to get a lot of muscle injuries like the Liverpool team. So it must be something in the culture of that football club that Klopp's brought to Liverpool. So I don't see that as being a problem. I mean, you're just running out of things to say about him. I was trying to explain to somebody yesterday, and you've only got numbers to describe it. The numbers are ridiculous. And that's it. And then, when if you haven't seen him live yet, Have either of you seen him yet, Darren?
Yeah, I've seen him live.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Watching his movement is something else. It's really, even when he doesn't get the ball, he resets and he goes again and he resets. You've never seen him throw his arms in the air. I mean, he is beyond the real deal.
I mean, no, he's been absolutely fantastic. But I mean, listen, one of your own, Phil Foden. I mean, how good has he been? And I think the scary thing is that he looks like he's getting better.
Well, I would just like to say that. Those 3 or 4 years ago where every pundit and writer in the country was saying he has to go on loan. He has to go on loan. Why is he not going on loan? And Pep said he ain't going anyway, staying with me. And we're gonna. This is now why he never went on loan, because that kid his goals yesterday were far out. And I mean, he's now first choice at 22, 50 goals for City. I mean, again, his numbers are ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He will go on to be our most decorated player without a shadow of a doubt.
Why do you think, Noel, we don't see the Phil Foden that we see in a City shirt and an England shirt?
Because City are better than England.
I know that, but do you think he's not being played in his natural position?
Look, we've all grown up watching England and wondered why that golden generation didn't win anything and all the rest of it. It's because, the best English players, when they're surrounded by the best players from the rest of the world, they thrive. There's something, there's something about when you put 11 German players together, they're going to win it or they're going to get to the final. There's something when you put 11 Englishmen together, they just come up short. I don't know what it is. None of us know what it is. If you knew what it is, you'd sell it to the FA and make a million. You'd be a billionaire. But you kind of, when you put, it's like 11 Italians, 11 Germans against, it's just, I don't know what it is. None of us do. But I think in the case of Foden, he's kind of England. I hate the way that everybody overanalyzes England. It's all about tracking back and this, that, and the other. Once you've got De Bruyne in your team and Bernardo Silva's like 3 players anyway, so you can kind of get away with a lot with Silva. So I think he's just freer in a better team.
You said that, I mean, listen, I'm a big Phil Foden fan, and someone who's come under a little bit of criticism, harshly, in my opinion, is Jack Grealish. But the last couple of performances, I thought he's really started to turn a corner. I mean, what did you make of his performance yesterday?
I thought he's great. From the first minute he got Delo booked, that was him done. But look, you'll know better than us, Darren, but we're fans of football, right? And I don't know how it all works. I just go to the matches and enjoy them. If the greatest manager of our generation, Guardiola, keeps picking him, that's enough for me. Yeah. I couldn't, the guy that bought him, Cheeky, has bought all these other players. If he sees something in him and Pep keeps picking him, who are we to argue about this? And of course, Jack gets judged on other things, is, having a drink and England and all that kind of thing. But that's the name of the game for them, But if Pep Guardiola is picking him every week, he's starting him in the derby, I mean, come on. That's enough for me.
No, what's more important to you as a City fan? Is it the Premier League or the Champions League?
Well, it's always the Premier League, always. But I think now is the first season that I have been like, okay, this is it now. While this lad is here, while Kevin De Bruyne is at his peak, while Bernardo Silva is still here, because he could have walked out the door in the summer, this is it now. I think most City fans have turned their attention to the Champions League, and we want that now, just to sit everybody down for a bit, and then I think the league will take care of itself. I don't think it'll be a one-horse race. I think with 6-7 games to go, I mean, we may have wrapped it up, but I don't see it. But
why don't you see it? Who do you think is going to challenge?
Well, Arsenal not showing any signs of. Arsenal look good. They've got. We gave them Jesus and Zinchenko.
Thank you.
Mate. Listen, the 2 bargains of the summer right there. Jesus is a brilliant player, but he had to get sacrificed for Haaland. Zinchenko is an amazing player. He pulled us out of the fire the last day of the season, and adding those 2 things to the Arsenal team. I mean, they're looking great, but I don't think we'll run away with it as much as people think. I don't think it'll be done by March, but if I could choose one, I'd choose both.
Okay. You mentioned Bernardo Silva. I want to get your views on another Silva, David Silva, and Kevin De Bruyne. We've been talking about who. Listen, he's worshipped David Silva. Understandably, some people say he's your greatest ever player. In your opinion, who's the better?
I mean,
because that ball that Kevin De Bruyne sort of bent, the pass wasn't even on when it left his boot. I mean, it's a crazy ball.
It's ridiculous. That guy is ridiculous. You can't split him. It's like saying who's best, Lennon and McCartney. You can't. They're equally as talented. Dave used to run the game in not as talented a side. Dave came when we were nothing, and he changed the way that the club played football. So David Silva will be forever, lauded by City fans, but De Bruyne is getting a statue. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
Did you go yesterday, Noel?
I didn't know because the train strike messed it all up. We used to go from the Saturday night and all that with the kids, but it messed up, so we had to sit and watch it on the telly.
Oh.
And it's the first one I've watched on TV for a while, and you'd rather be in the ground. But I'd say a big shout out to a friend of mine who called me from Belfast and asked me could I get him into the ground because he was going to fly over because he had a feeling United were going to win. So I got him a ticket off a friend of mine for the princely sum of £500, right? Because it was sold out. And I'd just like to say, I hope you had a great day, right? And you can come again whenever you like. My guess.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm sure he's over the moon with that money well spent. Yeah. I thought the reason you were going to say you didn't go is because you found out your seat was next to Ruben Diaz's dad.
Oh no! Well, I was up there recently. I hadn't seen Diaz since the day his dad nearly decapitated me. But
did you honestly have stitches?
I did, yeah. Oh yeah, I got bashed up. Have you not seen the?
No, I saw it. I just didn't know if you really did have stitches or not.
Yeah, I was getting stitches while they were parading the trophy around the pitch.
Who was stitching you up? The club doctor?
Yeah, the St. John's ambulance. It was. And one of the guys who's kind of got the things out, and he's saying, "Can you sit?" And he's going, I went to school with you, and I was like, "Now we're going to do this now," And but yeah, Diaz's dad is well, if you ever see him, you'll realise how a little fella like me got wiped out.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you got away with one actually, if he's that big. Listen, a real pleasure. Thanks so much for coming on. Always good to speak to you. Relevant of the score, 1-1, of course, on halves. We didn't even talk about the goal of the game, Anthony. We'll do that next time. Thanks for coming on, pal. We'll speak to you in a bit.
Bye.
Cheers, Noel.
There you go, the wonderful Noel Gallagher. The pictures of him with all the blood coming out of his face is, not good. And actual stitches as well. When we come back, oh my goodness, just like 10, 12 minutes left of the show. Then I've got to leave you here. I've got to go home.
I've got to fly the plane.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to get home and then watch the last hour of the show on my telly on YouTube. So I'll see you at work.
I like you supporting me.
We're
a team, right?
Yeah.
So I like that.
We'll talk when we come back. We'll talk about all the other bits and pieces from the weekend's football.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.